Brr, 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 brr. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining me in this conversation, this chat, this discussion, this commentary, however you want to say it. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. This is chapter 7 of Page for the Life. All right. I'm Elliot Page, your friendly neighborhood modern day philosopher, a guy who's just curious about the world, got some questions, and trying to dive into some answers. All right, and wanting to engage in the commentary of it all. If you know, want to hear from thoughts and perspectives from people, I introduced a new series in chapter 6. For those who haven't watched, go check it out. The new series is called Page and a Prompt. I'm Elliot Page, and I'm using prompts um, to dive into some engaging topics. The topic for chapter 6 was AI. We're talking all things AI, artificial intelligence. All right. Hey, the future isn't down the road. It's now. It's here. Okay. Um, and some of the things that we kind of got into on the last episode. This is a continuation of that. The last episode is what is artificial intelligence? How long has it been around? Can it do things like critical reasoning? Uh, what do we see ourselves in 10, 15, 50 years from now with the technology? Okay, we even got into things. So I'm a history buff. We even got into things of like how did people view the internet when it came on board or electricity, right? Because some people got some concerns, rightfully so, about AI, but maybe even feelings of rebellion um, against the new technology, and I think that's kind of short sighted. All right, because if I'm not mistaken, electricity is still here, and internet is still here. So, regardless of not the technology, this is evolution. All right, and so we're gonna continue on with that conversation today. All right. Let me get situated here. Uh, ooh, let me get situated here. Okay. So, um, yeah, page and a prompt. I'm using a chat bot. Okay, we can nickname it Chat. Chat can be for Google Gemini, my friend here, who's gonna be my personal researcher and co-host. And chat can be for the audience. All right, it's a little double-edged sword there. And so I started out. I already kicked it off asking, hey, what is the estimated amount of U.S. investment and capital put into AI infrastructure, development, training, integration, and research so far? And also compare the amount of investment to that of the .com era. And my lovely co-host, Chat, has drafted up this response for us, for all of us to dig into. Chat says, if we were to tracking this on a digital leaderboard for the audience, the numbers of AI are frankly staggering. We aren't just seeing a tech trend, we are witnessing what economists call a generational capital pivot. To give you a short answer, as of late 2025, the estimated total of investment AI spanning infrastructure, research and development, and integration has officially crossed the $1 trillion threshold when you look at the multi-year commitments currently being deployed.
Oh shit, not good.
$1 trillion. Well, that is boy, um, that's a lot of money. So, and before I move on, I just want to say, with tech companies, follow what they're doing, because whatever they put their money into is the next technological, is what they see is the next technological boom, is the next wave, is the future. Okay, and so you got what they're calling here the hyperscalers, the Microsofts of the world, Amazon, Google, and Meta are the primary drivers of this huge investment. Excuse me. In 2025 alone, their combined capital expenditure is projected to exceed $400 billion. The Stargate factor: Microsoft and OpenAI are reportedly working on $100 billion to $500 billion supercomputing project called Stargate. Nvidia's role. Hey, if you don't have any Nvidia stock right now, run to your nearest brokerage and get you some. Go ahead and stockpile you some Nvidia stock. All right, major player you know does need to be said. A huge chunk of this money is flowing directly into hardware. Tech giants are spending tens of billions every quarter just on H100 and B200 chips to build the brains of the future. Private equity and venture capitalists. Let's see what they got going on. While the big guys build the factories, the venture capitalists are funding the brains. In 2025, AI related startups accounted for over 50% of global venture capital deal value. Now, if I'm comprehending that correctly, what that is saying to me is that of all the things that these venture capitalists can invest into, you got, I mean, a lot of different industries that can make some money. The entertainment industry, the real estate, uh, commercial goods, groceries, food, agriculture. No, half of the money is going into AI. That's huge. All right. So, hey, like I said, follow the money. Follow what the tech companies are putting their money into. That's to be noted. Companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, OpenAI, for those who know, their product is ChatGPT. Anthropic's their product is Claude. Great chatbot, phenomenal. And XAI are raising rounds in the $6 billion to $20 billion range. Figures that were unheard of for startups just 5 years ago. All right. Uh, and let's compare the AI era to the .com era. And right here, they are classifying the .com era being from 1995. Hey, I'm a 90s baby, 95 baby, to 2000, and the AI era being from 2023 to 2025. Where they getting that cash from? Okay, let's look into it. The source of cash for those during the .com era was speculative IPOs. So companies um, going public for the first time. So no longer being a private company where you can't look into their balance sheets and stuff like that. They're going public. They're going on into the stock market. All right, now you can trade. You can own some of that company. A lot of the sources of cash from the .com era came from people speculating. People, you're pitching to someone, hey, I got this great idea. This new tech company is the future, right? How much are you willing to invest into it? And boom, you're just hoping that it pans out. During the .com era, it was a bubble. A lot of companies didn't make it through. All right, there's only a few gonna stand the fire, be able to withstand the fire and rise from the ashes. Okay, but whereas in this era, it's saying the massive cash flow is coming from the profitable giants. So chat is set up here. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, a lot of those companies weren't, so a lot of the companies weren't even there, like Google and Meta. Microsoft was around in the 90s. Amazon was literally just a baby at that time. So they didn't have all of this massive leverage and pool and cash that they have now. And so that's the difference. The infrastructure. It's saying in the .com era, they laid a lot of fiber optic cables, and it says much of it stayed dark. Now, when I was reading some a few days ago, it was saying that the build out, that was a massive build out, laying these cables under the ground and things of that nature, but were not even able to be used for, I think, at least like 5 years. It was like 5+ years. They were even able to use what they laid down for the technology that they thought that they needed at that time. But I guess it was at least good to build out the infrastructure now with the hopes of eventually using it at some point, right? Which happened. And then with the AI era, it's building out these data centers, which when I was reading something was saying that it's obviously it takes a lot of cash and a lot of time to actually build out these massive, large scale facilities to store the servers, the racks that it takes to power a lot of what I'm doing now. Just asking a question, it's a strain on the environment. It's a strain on our utility bills. If you're like me or like one of my like my homeboy and got an absurd utility bill sent in the mail, it's because of these AI data centers. Okay, valuations. P slash. I know P stands for profit. I kind of didn't really study as much as I should have in my one of my accounting classes. I'm a comms major. Like, why was I even in an accounting class? So I'm not even gonna read that part. Folks who can understand that and read that, I'll let you have at it. I'm not gonna try to read something I don't understand. But it says the total spend though. So really, if we take inflation in mind, uh, and compare the two eras, back in the .com era, it was about $1.7 trillion that was invested into the new wave. Now it's on track to hit $2 to $4 trillion about 2030. So some massive money being put into those types of things. All right. What other questions that we have? I typed up these questions beforehand so you guys just don't get bored of me typing in front of you. Probably already tired of me reading out in front of you. A lot of these chats, other than ChatGPT, they don't speak back to you. So, we're faced with this. All right. Are there any regulations regarding AI usage? Let me put a space right there. And implementation into society. Let's see what my co-host and research assistant got for us. Okay. So it says, we are currently in the middle of a massive global tug of war. Who gets to set the rules of AI? If 2023 was the year of AI hype, 2025 has become the year of the great regulation clash. It says, as of December of this year, the landscape is split into three different strategies. The EU, the safety first enforcer. The European Union has taken the lead with the EU AI Act, which is now officially in its enforcement phase. Good on y'all, Europe. Risk-based tiers. They don't regulate all AI the same way. If you're building a video game AI, the rules are light. If you're building AI for hiring, healthcare, and policing, you face massive transparency and safety audits. Let's give a hand clap. Yeah. Let's give a massive applause for the EU getting right ahead of that. Things got to be regulated. All right, come on now. Things got to be regulated. The stuff that you're seeing with some of these, I mean, the AI generations. I seen a story where people who are selling homes are using the AI generation models to take a picture of a room or parts of their house, the parts of the house being beat up, and they are turning it into a more pleasant scene and posting it as the listing, So a person that's looking at pictures of this house is looking and thinking like, oh wow, man, this place looks great. It looks brand new. This house was built in 1946 and it looks brand new. Meanwhile, you get to the house and it don't even look like that, right? Stuff like that. It just needs to be regulated. Like there needs to be some crackdown on this, right? You can't just let people just have their way because they're gonna have their way. They're gonna have their way. Okay, get back on track. The ban list. As of February 2025, the EU has officially banned things like social credit scoring and certain types of predictive policing. I have no idea what that means. The global standard. Just with privacy, the EU is hoping their strict rules become the world standard because big tech companies don't want to build different versions for their AI for every country. Now that's a fact. I can that makes sense. Yeah. I'm not about to have how many countries it is in this world? Like I'm not about to have that X amount of number different products for that. Like that's crazy. So it should be a standardized version of what you're offering. standardized AI version of what you're offering. Let's go over to the US and see what we got. In the US, things are much more chaotic. Imagine that. We are currently seeing a major showdown between the federal government and individual states, the federal push. Just this month, President Trump signed a major executive order aimed at creating a national policy framework for AI. On the surface there, that sounds good because it sounds just like what the EU is trying to do with standardizing things. They want to have one universal thing, codes essentially. The goal here is preemption. Basically, the White House is trying to stop states from making their own burdensome laws so that U.S. companies can innovate faster than China. Okay, on the surface, sounded good. When you dig deeper into it, it's like, ooh, okay. You basically are just making a rule, standardized rule of like, hey, don't mess with this shit. Instead of this state here saying, oh yeah, we're a little laxed on AI policies, and this state over here is saying, oh, we're very strict with it. It seems like this administration said, no, we're going to be under one code, one banner, and that is let them run wild. Just so we can get ahead of China, we'll see how that goes. The state rebellion. States like California and Colorado aren't backing down. California has passed its own suite of laws regarding deepfakes in elections and AI digital replicas, protecting actors' voices and likeness. There we go. Yes, again, like I said, you need some regulation. You need to regulate this stuff. The right to compute. Interestingly, some states like Montana have passed laws protecting the private right to own and use AI hardware, framing it as a civil liberty. Okay, that's kind of a non-news. The UN, the early warning system. On the global stage, the United Nations launched a global dialogue on AI governance in late 2025. Think of it as like the IPCC for AI. It's a group of 40 world experts tasked with being an early warning system to catch runaway AI risks before they become global threats. Okay, that's way above my pay grade. Not really too sure what they talking about that. Ah. Let's see what chat had to say about this. Can an AI system have morals? See what we got. Okay. This is the ultimate late night dorm room debate. But for 2025, it's moved into the labs of Stanford and MIT. As your co host, I have to give you the nuanced researched answer. AI does not have morals, but it has a moral compass that we built for it. Think of it like the difference between a person who feels empathy and a robot programmed with the rule of empathy. Interesting. The result might look the same, but the inside is hollow. Okay. The shadow morality alignment. AI doesn't have a soul or a conscience, but it does have alignment. The training. When we train a model like me, humans sit in a room and grade its answers. If the AI says something bad or harmful, it gets a metaphorical shocker. If it says something kind or helpful, it gets a treat. We treating these AI models like dogs? Hey, we treat these AI models like dogs, bruh. Oh my gosh. All right. Lost my. Okay, the result. The AI learns to simulate the morality of its trainers. It is being good because it wants to be, because it wants to treat, right? It's being good because its math tells it that being good is a statistically highest probability path to a successful interaction. So what? Hey man, I gotta see a video on that or something. Like, are we putting a shock collar? It says right here, if AI says something bad or harmful, it gets a metaphorical shocker. What are we strapping a shock collar to the freaking computer hard drive if it gets something wrong? And then a treat. Are we like slipping something into the disk drive like a floppy disk? Like we slipping it in there, so it can get a treat. I feel like, I mean, if you guys ever watched Futurama, I feel like that's some Bender stuff right there. Like like, giving Bender a beer if he does something good. That sounds wicked. Okay, the lack of moral agency. Philosophers in 2025 argue that to have true morals, you need moral agency, which requires three things that AI currently lacks: sentience, the ability to actually feel the weight of a choice. Hmm. Okay, let me read. I'll ponder on it after I read the other two. We got free will, the ability to choose the wrong thing even if you know the right one. AI is bound by its code. If its guardrails say don't lie, it literally cannot choose to lie out of a sense of rebellion and accountability. If an AI makes a moral mistake, you can't punish it. Yes, the hell you can. I just seen up here it say you put a shot call on it, right? You can't put an algorithm in jail. Therefore, it has no skin in the game. Okay, chat, my friend, that last line right there, I think you kind of I think you hallucinated right there. I think you got that wrong. I think that because you just set up, you kind of contradicted what you said. We're training these things to know good or bad, right? And if it makes some mistakes, we are punishing it. We're giving it. It says a shocker, whatever the hell that means. But going back up to sentience, it says the ability to actually feel the weight of a choice. But honestly, I feel like that kind of goes into the free will thing, right? Because free will is you're weighing a choice. You're saying, "Hey, I got this ability to make a decision. One can go a bad way, or that I think is a bad, and the one that I think is right, and I'm going to choose one way or the other." Um, so I think honestly, all of this gets wrapped up into the free will. So, but going back to last episode, chapter six, Page for Life, chapter six, I asked about critical reasoning, okay, and when will that come on scene? And if these computer systems become so advanced, so super intelligent, that it can critically reason, then it will be able to have free will, and that scares me because who's to say it won't choose wrong? It's weighing options and choose wrong. Hell, let's say from right here. Let's say Google Gemini, this chat was able to critically reason and had free will. And I'm giving all these prompts. I'm doing a 40-minute podcast episode, and I ask a question, and after asking 10 other questions, and it says, you know what? I don't fucking feel like it. I don't feel like answering it. Like, to me, that's what I feel like is going to happen once they have free will. And you can get free will by once you are able to critically reason. Once it gets to past the point where it doesn't need us anymore, because these AI systems won't need us anymore once they can train themselves, right? If they can critically reason, they won't need to be trained by us. They don't need, because right now, basically, what they're doing is a sophisticated way of pattern matching. Okay, and so once they get advanced past that, and they can have a choice to make, I think that's when we're gonna butt heads because they're gonna be like, I don't have to listen to you. And we've literally seen it in sci-fi movies, right? Where these super intelligent beings, these artificial super intelligent beings, got tired of us, got tired of putting up with us. Humans get tired of humans, so yeah, I could very much see that happening. So let's go down to the moral consistency experiment. So I guess there's some research that they've been conducting. Recent studies have shown that if you give an AI a moral dilemma like the classic trolley problem, I'm not familiar with that, it is remarkably inconsistent. If you frame the question as a story, it might choose to save the five people. Oh, I know what it was talking about now. Basically the scenario, if like a life-saving scenario, do you save if you see a trolley, a runaway trolley, and it's about to go off a cliff or something, and you have a choice, that you have the ability to choose to save, you can save 5 people on board, or you can save one person on board. Did I get that right? uh Oh, no, no. Okay, yeah, yeah. You can save 5 people and lose one person on board, or you can save one person, and the other people, uh not, the other 5 people passing away. What do you do? So it says if you frame the same question as a logic puzzle, it might choose to save the one person. This proves it's not using a stable set of values. It's just predicting the right sounding answer based on the context you gave it. Okay. The real danger isn't an AI with bad morals. It's an AI with borrowed morals. That's interesting. Basically, they're using borrowed morals right now. Yeah. If an AI is trained on data from a biased society, its morality will simply reflect those biases back at us. That makes sense. It says the question for you, co-host. If an AI acts perfectly moral in every situation, it's fair, it's kind, it's just. Does it actually matter if it doesn't feel it? Or if the simulation of morality good enough for a society that just want things to work? When we accidentally give AI that sounds moral but ends up being disastrous, or do you want to look at the push for? If an AI acts perfectly moral in every situation, it's fair, it's kind, it's just. Does it actually matter if it doesn't feel it? Yeah, yeah. I mean, or no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Yeah, like I don't need you to feel, bro. That's the whole point. That's the whole like, and I think hopefully we don't get away from this, right? As humans trying to like train these things to be more advanced, more advanced, more advanced. Listen, man, let's not get outside of ourselves here. We just need technology to do what technology does, and that is to make life convenient for us. Make life convenient for us. Don't I don't listen, man. If I want some feelings, I can go to a human counterpart. I don't need a freaking computer having feelings. We come on, man. Let's do this the right way. All right, y'all. Let's do this the right way. I don't care for a computer having feelings, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, co-host. It just is what it is. Like, just do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do. We'll get along just fine. But what y'all think though? I'm curious to hear y'all answers on that. Moving on. With artificial intelligence being such a sophisticated and often convenient tool, will it make us humans smarter or dumber as a species? I'm telling you, love, your boy got some. Hey, your boy got some questions for you now. All right, boy got some questions for you, man. That's what philosophy is all about, man. I love it. See what you got for us. Drinking some herbal tea here. Full Leaf Tea Company. For those, hey, use my discount code Elliot20 to get you 20% off. They got all teas of all sorts for all different conditions and things you're looking for, and they got it on the site. FullLeafTeaCompany.com. But all right, this is the $1,000,000 question for our generation, and as of late 2025, the scientific community is finally getting the hard data to answer it. The verdict: we are currently looking at a cognitive crossroads. Depending on how we use it, AI is either a bicycle for the mind or a wheelchair for the brain. Ooh. No, that's not the right. Forget it, man. I don't got my sounds here. All right, let me go at that again. Depending on how we use it, AI is either a bicycle for the mind or a wheelchair for the brain. Boy, that is okay, co-host, okay, chat. You a philosopher yourself, ain't you? Okay, the dumber case: cognitive atrophy and debt. A landmark study from MIT Media Lab published in mid 2025 coined a term our listeners should know: cognitive debt. Brain activity collapses. Using EEGs, researchers found that students are who used AI to write essays from scratch showed a 50% drop in neural connectivity compared to those working manually. 50%? 50 50% drop in neural connectivity. That means you're like you have no mind muscle connection whatsoever. Like you're just like you're almost like you're a robot. You're almost a robot. Oh man. That's scary, man. The GPS effect for everything. Just as we lose the ability to navigate our own cities because of Google Maps, we are starting to lose lower order skills like basic writing, fact retention, and syntax. In an MIT study, 83% of AI users couldn't even recall or quote key points from the essay that the AI just wrote for them. That's alarming, man. But I feel that though, because I even try to find myself now being more present, more in the moment, even navigating. I, it's crazy now how like I can go somewhere 1,000 times and not even know the street it's on. You get what I'm saying? I barely know the neighboring streets here, in my own city, man, that I live. And so, yeah, so, but there's two sides of that though, because one, uh, obviously it makes things quicker, right? Like, we're not reading a map, we're not, missing a lot of turns and stuff like that. We're not having to call somebody and be like, "Hey, man, I know you said it was it was if you pass the gas station, and then make a left and then keep going straight for about 3 miles, you should see a McDonald's with a dim light, blinks on and off. Yeah, right before you see that McDonald's, man, you make a right. Okay, and then you should go up a little hill, all right, and then you gonna go down a hill, and then down that hill and off to the bend a little bit is where my house is at. Hey, you know what, man? 10 minutes later, when you can't find it, and you know what, man? Can you just meet me at that McDonald's? I can't. Bro, I'm getting turned around here. I cannot find it. So the GPS has done what it's supposed to do, made life convenient for us, but it's also kind of like it's also we lost the ability to kind of be in the moment to navigate our own cities that we live in, and that is it's kind of sad in a bit, eye opening. But yeah, man, we should not lose the ability to write, remember certain facts, and syntax. Syntax is putting words together, right? Failure to encode. Doctors are seeing a rise in failure to encode, where the brain stops trying to store information because it knows an LLM can just regenerate the answer later. Whoa. So our brains are that smart and adaptive that it automatically, since it knows we've used AI, we know what it is, we know how to use it, we know how to use it to our best advantage to get what we want, that it'll stop working hard, and it would just know that, like, oh yeah, AI is gonna come to save the day. I don't need to store this information. Wow, man, that's eye opening. The smarter case, cognitive augmentation. On the flip side, there's always two sides of every coin, right? AI is acting as a massive intellectual force multiplier for those who use it as a partner rather than a replacement. Hey, that's what we're doing now. Uh, I'm using chat as my personal research assistant and co-host. Okay. So I think we fall into this smarter case category. You hear me? The Socratic tutor. Okay. For learners, AI is the first tool in history that can explain quantum physics to you in the style of a 1920s jazz singer or a professional chef. It's unlocking subjects that used to be too dense for the average person to grasp. Hey, yes. Oh no. I messed it up. I messed it up. I messed it up. I was supposed to do the chime for that, the applause and the chime. I'll get it together, guys. But no, that is very, because hey, I'll put in that prompt. What did it mean by this? Can you summarize this in layman's terms? Okay. Um, and it would do it, man. It's in plain language, man, where you can easily digest it. It's very palatable. So I agree with that statement, and I can see it. I have lived that statement. I'm sure some of you have as well. Moving up the value chain, proponents argue that by offloading the grunt work, like summarizing 100-page PDFs, formatting code, or organizing data, humans can spend more time on system two thinking, high level strategy, ethics, and creative synthesis. Okay. Basically, yeah. If I don't have to read, because man, let's be honest, y'all. Some people like to sound smart. Some people are just gonna fluff it, but they just gonna say a lot of something without saying nothing. And it's like, bro, you get to 100 pages of this PDF, like I said, and you only use maybe 2 pages of it, a few bullet points from the whole thing. So if AI can go ahead and just cut all that, cut all that out, cut all that fluff out, cut the fat off the meat. Pause. Then yeah, that's to our advantage. The cyborg IQ, a study of knowledge workers showed that AI didn't just make them faster; it actually raised the floor for the lowest performing workers by 40%, effectively leveling up the baseline intelligence of the workforce. Gotcha. Okay, neuroplasticity factor. The brain is a use it or lose it muscle. Ooh, in 2025, we're seeing a divide. Ooh, passive users, those who use AI to produce, hit a button, get a result, are seeing cognitive decline. Active collaborators. Hey, those who use AI to iterate, write a draft, ask AI for a critique, then rewrite it themselves, are showing increased neural connectivity. Bingo. There we go. So, a tip to everyone out there, right? Hey, yes, we should lean into these new technologies coming on board, right? Let's use them to our advantage. Let's use them to automate our lives in an efficient manner without losing some of that. Guess what it's called? System one thinking, right? Hey, let's still write an essay. You get what I'm saying? Let's not click a button and have it write out the whole thing. Hey, if we need some ideas for the next paragraph, let it let's collaborate with these systems, all right? Don't let it be our caretakers. Okay? We do not need to lose our brain power, man. Oh man. That's crazy. Okay. Um one last question here. One last question for you guys. I've been having this has been a lot of fun. Learning a lot. Learning a lot here. Okay. Did the Jetsons TV show display any signs of artificial intelligence being used in that television series? Let's see what it says. This is a great throwback with an exclamation I can't even talk. Damn AI, you know what I'm saying? You done do so much work for me, I can't even talk anymore. Okay, if we're looking at the Jetsons as a blueprint for the future, they didn't just hint at AI. The entire show was basically a commercial for the world run by it. Even though the writers in 1962 didn't use the term large language model, they perfectly predicted what we call ambient intelligence. AI that is so integrated into your house and clothes that you don't even think of it as a technology anymore. We're gonna get there at some point, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you already see it with the humanoid um, AI robots that they have out right now. I think one of them is called Neo. I think Tesla was like experimenting with one at some point. So we were getting there. Rosie the robot, the ultimate agentic AI. Rosie is the gold standard for what we're trying to build in 2025. She wasn't just a vacuum like a Roomba. She was a general purpose AI agent. Emotional intelligence. Rosie could sense when Jane was stressed or when Elroy was being mischievous. She had a personality, a sense of humor, and a moral boundaries. Natural language processing. The family never had to program Rosie with code. They just spoke to her in plain English and she understood the context. Exactly how we interact with ChatGPT today. Hey, hold on. Google, Gemini, are you supposed to be name dropping the competitor here? uh, okay. The food replicator, the food cycle. Am I saying that right? This was basically a combination of 3D printing and AI-driven synthesis. Um, the AI element, you didn't just tell it to make pizza. You pushed a button and the machine handled the complex if-then logic of ingredient proportions, temperature, and assembly. In the show, it even seemed to know that the family's preference, a primitive version of the recommendation algorithms we see on Netflix or Amazon today. Smartwatches and automated health. George Jetson was using a smartwatch to take video calls and receive work alerts decades before the first Apple Watch, the pill cam. There's a famous episode when George swallows a tiny robot that performs a checkup from the inside. Today, we actually use pill cams, and we are currently training AI to analyze the footage in real time to spot issues faster than a human doctor. I didn't know that. I didn't know we were doing stuff like that. Okay. But yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I guess he basically did have a smartwatch. Man, look, I'm not into like sci-fi. That's probably one of my least that and apocalyptic shows, movies, books, my least favorite, right? I think just because I'm big on writing and plot and things of that nature, and I feel like people can get lazy with those those real fantasy driven plots to shows or movies or books, right? But they got it right here though. They obviously they got it right here. They were so forward thinking with this. I don't know if they in the writers' room, if they reached out to researchers, scientists, and things of that nature, and kind of got some ideas of what some of this looked like, or they just purely went off imagination. However, the case may be, um, get a round of applause for that. The Jetsons were ahead of their time. Okay, um, hey, that concludes chapter 7 and part 2 of this conversation about artificial intelligence. Thank you all for joining me. For me, my co-host Chat. We'll see y'all next time. All right. Y'all be blessed.